budget angler here, just out on the Norfolk Broads, as you can see. I'm out on evening shadow, just left Ranworth Stave. We got here Saturday. It is Monday morning. Had a bit of a drop shot. Sorry if you get a bit of wind noise on the microphone, as ever. It's a bit breezy out on the Broad. Had a bit of a go with the feeder this morning with maggots at the Stave, not a touch. It did a bit of drop shot in yesterday, but the weather closed in. We had some real sort of squally hailstorms blow through, and I don't know if you know Ranworth, you know there's a pub over the road, so we retired to there and spent the rest of the afternoon in the pub. I haven't done much fishing yet, to be honest, and it's cold. I mean, it's February, it's cold. Well, it's a beautiful morning today, although that's not going to set to last. We might see a bit more rain this afternoon, but then the rest of the week is looking dry, if not fair. And we've run out of gas, and that's not supposed to happen on a syndicate boat, but I don't know, the system has failed there. So we've got to go back and get some gas. I mean, obviously, of course, it could happen, but really, you never want to be leaving without one full gas bottle. We've got two on board, so yeah. And I don't know what's gone wrong there, but partially my fault. I should have checked on Saturday afternoon when I left. Although by the time we got out on board, there was no one at our boatyard, and there was nowhere open that does the flow gas, which is what we use, not Cala. I could have got Cala, but that meant, well, I've never really sort of bought Cala or flow. I've always gone like patio gas for like stuff at home, and then you just swap the bottles. But they wanted me to sign up to some sort of contract for the Cala gas, and I was like, no. So not that I would have, I wouldn't have changed the gas supplier just for one trip, especially as our boatyard carries flow. Anyway, that is just me absolutely wittering and waffling, and you're thinking, why isn't he talking about fishing? Well, I will be, but it's tough. It's very tough. So whether we get much fishing done, I don't know. I will put this vlog out. I'll try and maybe talk you through some sort of walk into tackle shops or something like that. But the water levels are really high. The water overtopped the banks on Saturday night at part of Haugen, which was a little bit scary, because you sort of, I know it probably, it'd be difficult to do because the boats have a keel and that, but with an onshore wind and the overtopping, you just sort of have visions of you suddenly finding yourself high and dry when the tide goes out. I'll just show you this now, the water level. So hopefully you can see that there. That's Ranworth Island. There's normally a sort of clear foot or 18 inches of quayhead in there. Low water around here is probably about now, actually, maybe a little bit hour later. Roughly, I've got the chart somewhere. I was looking because I may later in the week go down south, down to the Southern Broads. I'm out with a friend who's a railway enthusiast, and there's a reasonably famous railway station down there called Burnley Arms, which I think last year was the sixth least visited station in the country. Again, waffling on, so I'm going to leave it there, and hopefully we'll get some fish the next time you see me. Fish on. Oh, calf. Tiny little perch, but
did you see it?
Yeah. Hey, there you go, guys. There you go, tiny little wasp. And it just goes to show, I actually realised that he's so clear and I could see the lure and it just disappeared, and I think I might not have even felt that before he ejected it again. That's how quick they're sucking in them and ejecting them. So I'm really glad I decided to look down at that opportune moment. It's only a tiny fish, but it's the first fish of the holiday, and I'm pleased as punch with that. Cracking little Norfolk Broads perch, caught on a little drop shot paddle tail, lovely. So guys, what I'm going to do, in the absence of any sort of fishing, I'm going to do a little vlog and just show you where the fishing tackle shops are in Wroxham. Hopefully you can hear me over the noise of the wind and the engine. Obviously that's evening shadow. I'm going to confess it's about 10 o'clock and I've just woken up. I didn't get in till about 3 last night. The London Rascal came down, who's a vlogger, and we went out with my mate Dan, who I'm out with for the week. We went for a night out in Norwich and went clubbing, and I'm not as young as I used to be, evidently. So anyway, just left the hotel. We're moored outside the Wroxham Hotel. It's £10 for the night. That's Granary stayed there, and this is Granary Dyke. That is where you moor to wait for the pilot, and you're not really allowed to moor there sort of for any other purpose if you're a big powered craft. And then this dyke is exclusively for small unpowered craft. Oh look, it says there on that sign. So we're just going to walk up onto the main drag of Wroxham, and I'll show you where the fishing tackle shop is. Oh, shops are. In fact, there are two. So this is the famous Wroxham Bridge. I'm not going to go too much in the touristy side of things, because it's not really my genre, but this is, you can't always get under here because of the tide times and stuff like that. And at the moment the tides are so high that we can't get through, and I don't suppose we'll get through at all week, even with the top down. And I mean, the top down, she goes down to 6'6". So yeah, but even 6'6" is just too much of an air draft to get under the bridge. I'll see if I can get down and show you, because a lot of people like to fish along here and fish to the bridge on both sides, and it's a lot of people I've spoken to say it's a really great place for catching perch. I mean, it's been fishing really well here, as I heard from one of the other tackle shops I visited, and there's a guy fishing on that holiday let there. He was just fishing with a float with maggots, and he was getting a fish a chuck, and some of the ropes look really nice, you know. So yeah, it just unfortunately, just because I've been out out on the lash, I haven't actually done any fishing in Wroxham, and I think we might be setting off quite soon, just because we want to go up somewhere else for our dinner tonight. So anyway, this is the main drag through Wroxham. You know, you got your fish and chips and sweets shops and cafes and clothes shops and all the rest of it. Of course, if you've been to Wroxham, you know about Roy, and if you haven't, then you will know about Roy in a minute. So down there's like a little arcade of shops down there. There's a nice charity shop down there actually. There's like bits and bobs. My mum likes it in there. There's Roy's Toys. So that's obviously the first Roy's you're going to come to. You've got Roy's Food Hall, which is basically a McDonald's and a supermarket. And then over there is Roy's, the original, which is the department store, and it's actually quite an upmarket department store. Obviously, there's your Angling Direct. So that's the first tackle shop you can get. It's a standard Angling Direct, provisioned with quite a lot of stuff. Good, good, helpful, friendly staff, to be honest. I don't have a massive problem with Angling Direct. I mean, they're not, they can be a bit chainy, yeah, but at the end of the day, you're better off having a shop that sells fishing tackle than not a shop at all. So I want to just walk up here and use the crossing, because it's busy. You know, people are going to and from Norwich for work, so I don't want to chance it and get run over with a hangover, because that would just be too much for me. So yeah, this is, then we've got Roy's supermarket there. That's the clothing bit you can see, but behind that they've got a proper supermarket which carries a lot of co-op stuff. I think interestingly about the old McDonald's is you don't often see a McDonald's with other branding on the building. So I will, in my experience anyway, maybe you might spot others, but to have a sort of McDonald's as a concession in a Roy's, I think it's quite unusual. And I mean, I think it's quite a cool, quite a cool thing. There's a bit of a line that people say, and they say that it's a Trivial Pursuit question. What's the biggest village store in the world? And they say it's Roy's, but whether it is or not, I don't know. And I don't think you can really call it a village store, can you? It's a department store, in my view. So this is so as you walk up from the river, we've turned left. I'm just trying to orientate myself. That's why I've swung my head around there, because my left and right is not quite with it. Pub here. It's the Green King pub. It's the King's Head. He said, looking at the sign. You got Riverside Moor. There's a guy fishing there actually, and that's the river runs along there, and you can evidently you can fish there. I think where it's quiet, if there's no sign saying no fishing, let's face it, it's probably better to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. It's Roy's loading area. You got your tourist information centre up here. And I thought it was. It looks like it might be some sort of NHS thing now. I thought this was the tourist information. Maybe I'm muddled up. Oh, Wroxham Travel, British Air. Oh, it's a travel agents. I actually thought that was the Broads Authority Information Centre, but oh no. Sorry guys. Right, there's the Broads Authority Information Centre there, that glass building. I'm thinking, what on earth? That's it. He's a travel agent and a chemist. Yeah, luckily I don't need the chemist this morning. Nothing's gone drastically wrong, and I've got some paracetamol at home. That's the information centre. If you're on a boat that needs electric for the where you plug in, you can buy your electric cards, and then when they're open, but they're not open out of season very often, if at all. But it's empty, so they're not open at the moment. Masson Brothers. That's a that was a butcher's. It was a really nice butcher's actually, but they've I think they retired and gave it up. I'm walking and chatting away here, and I'm hoping that's interesting. That car there is driving around my marina when I was there yesterday, so I don't know if he's staying on a boat and having a holiday and he's come for a drive out here. All right, there's the other tackle shop, so I didn't want to get here and think it's gone or I've taken a wrong turning. Right, let's get out of the carriageway. No footway on this side of the road, it just sort of stops there. So yeah, there you go, Chunky's Tackle. Another good fishing tackle shop. They used to have one up the other bridge that specialises in pet food and bedding and all that sort of stuff for pets. They've branched into fishing tackle. Not 100% sure why. There's a British Mistley Railways. That's like a little miniature village and like model railway. And do you know what? I've never been in it because every time I've come here it's been shut. But yeah, and it looks like it's shut now. But I will get in there. That looks nice. And I think that, you know, this is why I never get any fishing done on the Broads, because I'm always out doing other things, trying to. So that's the river runs along there basically. It runs sort of almost parallel to this road and then takes a left. I've not been under that bridge though for ages. Not an evening shadow anyway. So yeah, I'm just talking away here, just trying to add a bit of commentary to the video. Hopefully it's been of use to you. There's a few guys fishing down there, quite a lot of people fishing actually, but the guy in Wroxham, I don't know, not in Wroxham, it's in Latham's, in the fishing tackle shop up at Pot Haugen, was telling me that Wroxham's fishing incredibly well. So we've obviously had to walk into the footway there. This isn't right. I mean, this is not, you know, it's my line of work, this sort of thing, and that's not. I mean, that's not bad. You can put pedestrians into the carriageway if you've got the road closed, but ideally you want to take a lane out and give them plenty of room. But normal for Norfolk, I suppose. Yeah, that's the tourist information centre again. So I don't know if, hopefully it's coming out well enough on the footage. But I've walked back round. This is an old pub here. Can't remember what it was called. Looks quite nice. This is a Broads Authority mooring. It's free anyway. I think it's a Broads Authority mooring anyway. I'm sure this is the free mooring, but I get under that bridge so seldom. A couple of lure fishermen there. It looks like they're jigging away. Probably after the perch. Don't know if they're chucking anything heavy. There's a narrowboat there as well. It's a blue narrowboat. You don't often see those on the Broads. Yeah, so this is the old pub. I don't know what it's like inside. It's sort of one of those things you're sort of waiting for an urban explorer vlog to come and have a go. And there's a glass, I don't think someone's made a nest in there. Look at that glass lamp. It's not an old gas lamp, is it? I don't think so. No, they look like it because of the little post things there. That's to lean your ladder on when you change the mantle. But yeah, in fact, it's got a tree growing out of it, I think. Or I don't know if someone's made a nest in it. Unusual. Anyway, you're getting a bit of tour of Wroxham. I'm going to try and do this for other places, just so you can see if you come on holiday where you can get your tackle and bait. Fake windows, an old notice board. Not sure what this what is or was. I must admit, I'm not I've only been coming to the Broads since 2015 really regularly, so I'm not au fait with the real history of it. So let's have a quick look down here. So this is the pub, the King's Head. I like it. I like Greene King pubs. I was kind of weaned on Greene King IPA, so they hold a fondness for me. And the town where I live now in Biggleswade, that has got that had a Greene King brewery up until 1997. I don't know where they're all based now. I think they're all at Bury St Edmunds, which is where they're sort of known for. So the pub garden here, obviously it's not much to see because it's close. He's always chucking a big law. Blimey, it's got to be about 10 inches long almost. Looks like one of them something, they squirrely birds or something like that, like a big thing with a big floppy tail on it, yeah. Yeah, so they're obviously making the best of the good fishing at Wroxham. You just float fishing. Yeah, it's nice. Right, so here we are. Back at Granary Stayed. I mean, the edit will be I just didn't want to wait there, stood there trying to cross the road, so you don't have to see the me just dodging the traffic. This place is sort of known for its pigeons and its swans. You'll often see in the summer when the boats aren't waiting for the pilot to get them under the bridge, hundreds of people, well, not hundreds, but lots of people with their breads, and look, all these swans are rocking up, and they think, oh look, he's got bread for them. That's obviously Evening Shadow, Wroxham Hotel, the River Bure. That's the famous Wroxham Bridge. So the actual structure of the bridge is now protected by a metal one that goes over the top. You can't really see it because of these are two bridges really. This is a pedestrian footbridge. But it's yeah, cracking little spot. And if you come here in the summer and the water's crystal clear, it's really got a lot of colour in it today actually. Sometimes it's so clear here you can see the bottom, and I always see loads of fish behind that wooden piling, mostly roach, and I think it's great protection for cormorants because they can't, you know, they might be disinclined to swim through it because they don't know what it is, so they're often behind there. It's not that deep and you can see them all when you look over from the pedestrian bridge. But there's you can see a bit of the eddy there. There's quite a, you know, it's a narrowing of the river, so you're getting increased, I suppose it's increased pressure. I'm not really good on me fluid mechanics, but I think if you narrow it, it's increased pressure, isn't it? It doesn't make it flow faster, just a higher pressure. And I mean, look at that corner there. You know, if that's not a place where little wasps are going to congregate, you know, I don't know what it is. You know, all around here, it's just pure feature, isn't it? Especially with the abutments there on the bridge. Is it abutments or are they buttresses? I can't remember. I've forgotten a lot of things that I've learned, and probably more after last night. Yeah, so we got 6 foot. What's that? 6'2", 6'4" on the bridge. Yeah, so you know, you had a cruiser, like an old-fashioned wooden cruiser that really drops down. You'd get under today. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Low water's about now though. I looked at the tide chart and we're looking, I think Wroxham low water was around about 10:30, something like that, so we must be getting there or thereabouts. Yeah, so that's really Wroxham tackle shops from the boat, and just a general bit of information. And I can see another aquafiber Pearl 38 down there for anyone that likes the boating. I think that's Brink's Merrymore. That's Barnes Brinkcraft. So if you're staying there, you're on a holiday boat, hire boat, you could likely moor in Barnes Brinkcraft for nothing because they're on part of the Hire Boat Federation. And the same, that little dike there where this little boat's coming out of, that's NBD, Norfolk Broads Direct. They have another name as well. Faircraft Loynes is the other sort of name of their company, and you can take the boats out of there. And so if you're hiring from another company, they're all part of the federation, so it's a place you can moor for free in Wroxham, because I've actually had to pay a tenner to put Evening Shadow there overnight at the hotel. They charge, and I mean, you know, why wouldn't they? It's a very busy, popular place, and if you can't get in at the boatyard and you want to stop at Wroxham, the capital of the Broads, you know, it's their land, their bank, why shouldn't they charge for it? It's a hotel after all, and I don't begrudge paying it. It's a lovely hotel and I like going in there stopping outside. It's a great place to watch the world go by on the river, and a great place for a beer too. Though perhaps I'll lay off the imbibing for a while. Anyway, that's it really. I'm going to get back on the boat and have a bacon roll. Well guys, just a little update for you. It's actually the last full day here. I haven't really done much fishing at all. I think I got one perch on camera, and that's the only fish I've caught all week. I haven't really tried fishing too much, to be honest. Just moored at Acle here. This hasn't been fishing very well at all. I didn't try fishing at Acle because we went out walking instead yesterday, and walked up to Upton and had a look around the village there. Really nice. And there's actually a little village pond in Upton with fishing that's reserved for under 14s only, which my first thought was that's a bit strange, and then I thought, well, actually it's probably a really good idea, because if you've got kids that want to go fishing, rather than having coming down to like the River Bure and fishing, potentially on their own, sneak out of the house or whatever with their dad's fishing gear, they can go to the village pond, which is far safer for them in a place that they know, which I thought was, so I can kind of see the logic behind that, and I thought it was really nice. Excuse me if I look a bit dishevelled. I haven't long got up. I'm just having a cup of tea. Thought I'd come out while the sun's shining. It's a bit nippy. I don't know if you can see the key heading's really frosty, so I have to be a bit careful when we're untying. Although this sun, it's been so mild for February that the sun will probably burn that off really quickly. So I think the last bit you would have seen on the GoPro was me doing the little walk to show you where the fishing tackle shops are in Wroxham. So I'm going to do that for Horning now, to show you the fishing tackle shop in Horning, up from probably from the village Staithe, although that's quite a long walk. But so I don't know if I can feel the footage, but it's worth it's worth walking up to. And if you need a tackle shop, you need a tackle shop when you're out and about. So yeah, I might get a bit more fishing done in the yard when we get back, but we've got to get the boat all spick and span and ready for the next owner. So may or may not have time for that, but hopefully might have time to chuck a few little lures around in there. Although I'm not that hopeful. The only place that's been fishing has been Netishead Staithe, and we got there and it was full of anglers. I mean, we were the only big boat moored there. There was one little sailing boat moored there. It was so full of anglers. If cruisers had come in, it would have been problematic. And there has been some conflict with boaters and anglers there, which is a shame. And apparently, someone's boat had paint thrown on it, and the guy whose boat it is, he thinks it was anglers, but I don't know. I haven't read the full ins and outs of it on the forums and Facebook groups yet. So we'll see. I mean, yeah. Well, I don't. I mean, boaters at public moorings have got to give anglers at public moorings have got to give way to boaters. But I think obviously, if boaters do arrive, you've got to give a bit of consideration, and I think make sure give the anglers adequate time to pack their gear away safely and securely. They don't want to damage their expensive fishing gear and stuff like that. I think it's just a case of everyone having to be reasonable. But it's just interesting that's the only place that's fishing. And when I got up yesterday morning before 8 o'clock, we'd been in the pub and in the White Horse, and I got up yesterday morning, looked out the window, and it was full of anglers. There must have been 10 anglers there, all up and down the bank opposite where we were moored, and then right at the entrance to the little dike that forms the Staithe, there were people pike fishing. They were all catching. Saw some nice big pike coming out for the pikers, and the silverfish guys were you know, fish a chuck and some really nice ropes coming out. But by the time I got up, there was actually no space for me to fish. So even off the boat, it would have been tight. You know, I don't want to start casting around other people fishing. So we moved round to Gaystave and didn't get a touch for a couple of hours. But yeah, it's been really tough fishing. But the salt tides have been, I think I'll probably mention, the salt tides have been absolutely shocking. So it probably has really put the fish off. But anyway, we'll have another go in the marina and see how we get on. Hopefully that's been a bit of a coherent update for you. And yeah, the next time you see me, I might have a fish, and we'll definitely be having a little walk in Horning. Right guys, so as promised, here's a walk through Horning to show you where the tackle shop is. So this is Horning's tackle shop. This is Bass Online, and I've just walking towards it from sort of the Skull Street end of Horning towards the village itself, because our marina's just down there. And that's basically it. I mean, it's Bass Online there, and they're not open Tuesdays, I don't think, out of season, but I'm sure they're open all year round in season. Probably the best selection of lure fishing stuff I would have thought of any of the Broads tackle shops. I'm really only showing you this one and Wroxham because they're the only places I've visited this week where I thought to do this. It's not a tackle shop I use really frequently, but it's the one I use the most on the Broads because I often just bring my own stuff, and I try not to buy new stuff. So just for reference, that ferry road down there, that takes you down to Ferry Boats, the hire yard, whatever they're called, Horning Ferry and Horning Ferry Marina, and the Ferry Inn pub. So what I'm going to do is carry on walking. It's a bit of a walk down to the rest of the sort of the village, if you like, where the other pubs are. The ferry shut at the moment, otherwise I would have walked you down there and stopped for a quick pint, but it's not open until the spring, so I won't do that. So we're going to walk down, and what I'll do is speed this footage up so you get to see the walk, but I haven't got enough to say to fill up a mile of country lane talking. So yeah, I'll speed this up and maybe put a bit of music to it. If I spot anything interesting, I'll stop it and let you know. So we're just approaching kind of what I think is like it's the centre of the village, although it's not really the centre of the main riverside drag. The river runs parallel to this road. You can see that red diesel flag there flying. That's the mooring bit for Southgate, where we've just been to get our diesel and pump out, ready for the next owners before we turn the boat around and go home. So this is the back of Southgates, and you may have moored there for your diesel and pump out and never really been down the back, because sometimes you might go there, think, oh, you'll stop at one of the pubs in Horning, but of course very, very difficult to get moored. So yeah, and that's the new inn. They've obviously got nice moorings there. There's the new inn sort of moorings and garden. They've got a nice little bit you can sit outside, and on a day like this, even though it's February, it's absolutely gorgeous. It really is a lovely place to stop for a drink. And I think I'm going to pop back on my way back to the boat and stop for a pint. I'll walk you down as far as the Swan, and then that'll be the sort of the main bit of the street that runs along the river in Horning. So this is the public stay there. It's I don't know if it's the counts as the parish stay, because lots of villages have them, but it's run by the Broads Authority. Free 24-hour mooring. It's very difficult to get moored in the season. It does have electricity points, but it's a lovely place. And then I'll just walk you up and show you the green, the sort of the village green opposite the stave. And that building there, that red brick building with the chimneys, that's the Swan Inn there. This is the bend in the river they call Swan Corner. Quite well renowned for perch and pike, you know, predator fishermen speak quite highly of this corner. I've never fished it because there's nowhere really suitable to keep a big cruiser moored up, and I'm very rarely lucky enough to get a spot here. And of course I've got a mooring in the village, so I don't often stop here. Yeah, here's the green. It's a shame there's all these vans and cars. If I was a council, I'd probably ban parking, but I think they detract from the overall look of the village green. And I think we'll leave it there for this little wander. I'm not going to stop in the Swan for a pint, because they make you order at the bar and then bring it to your table, and your drink often gets stuck in the food queue, and it really, really annoyed me. Well guys, back home now, back at Budget Angler HQ. I think it's the first time you're probably getting a look at that, and I am sitting at a really weird angle to contrive to get those fish pictures in the backdrop. Sad, isn't it? But anyway, yeah, what a lovely week on the Broads, catching up with friends and cruising. Something a bit different with those sort of walk videos. I actually enjoyed doing them, so you'd have to let me know what you think of that. It's not my usual style, and God knows what, I've just been watching it back, what rubbish I was talking. So yeah, I was calling Wroxham, and I know that's going to upset people, because the other side of the bridge where I was mostly, well, all the time, is actually Haugen. And I was watching it back and I thought that's bound to sort of pique someone's interest. So that's Haugen actually. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm totally losing my thread here. I am recovered now. Obviously, yeah, it was a good week catching up with friends. It was you know, as ever when I go on the Broads, I always end up saying this at the end of my videos. I never fish as much as I want to. I think I'm gonna, because I fish all the time at home, and so when I go to the Broads, it's sort of like there's so many other things to do, and it's such a great place for a holiday, regardless if you like fishing. I'm out on Evening Shadow in May, which is closed season, so I won't be fishing, but I'm definitely going to try and do some more sort of fishing-based walks on that trip. So we'll see how we get on with that. Although I'm going with my two oldest sisters, and I think probably my dad and one of my sisters' husband, and I don't get to see them as often as I'd like, and so that's generally, there's quite a lot of socialising goes on there. So it is a boat-based pub crawl when I go out on the Broads. Obviously, you know, it's all sensible. You don't get, you know, no one gets completely off their heads and drives a boat or anything like that. But yeah, it does mean that I don't always fish as much as I'd like to. But hopefully, the sort of talking about the locations was of some use to you. Yeah, sorry. This phone, I finally getting around to getting a new phone. I haven't. I've ordered it because this doesn't have. It's actually an alright phone, but it doesn't have image stabilization. So when I've been holding it a long time, it does tend to judder, and I've noticed on that video there was a bit of shaky bit. So apologies for that. I'm completely lost my train of thought. I think that's the hallmark of this video. Really, I was totally sort of not in my usual vlogging comfort zone where I'm just hooking fish out, showing them to you, and putting them back. I did have a few bits and bobs I wanted to say. Oh yeah, that's it. Just about the tackle shops, really. I mean, I didn't really mention much about them. I didn't really do any reviews or anything like that because I don't use the tackle shops and the Broads very much. I don't use tackle shops that much, to be honest, especially these days. I was all right when I was in London because there was one close to me, Roman Tackle, and I used to go there loads. But where I am now, there's no tackle shop anywhere near me. The nearest one is probably about 15 miles away, to be honest, in a few towns over, and it's not got any. It's not on the train line I use regularly. It's not on the East Coast main line where I'm up and down sort of Stevenage and stuff like that. So yeah, I have to order stuff online now, and even my bait I'm ordering online. So it's yeah, it's a bit of a change, but you know, you get by, and I suppose I don't know, you know, I suppose it's sort of like catch-22 in it. If you didn't have the online services, would there be more tackle shops? But because you haven't got the tackle shops, you need the online services. But yeah, I'm just thankful I can get the stuff I need and go fishing. But as for the shops on the Broads, I've not had a bad experience in any of them. So I'm not really going to do reviews on the shops because I don't use them enough, and I don't think it'd be fair for me to sort of do reviews. But I've never gone into any and thought, God, this is naff. You know, the ones I've used, I've probably used all the ones I can think of, like Ludden Bridge, Potter, Horning, Wroxham, which you saw, Alton Broad. There's a little one right by the yacht station. There are two in Beccles. You've got an angling direct and a smaller private one. I've gone to both of those. Just I nearly only just go to buy maggots because that's the thing I'll run out of and don't take with me, just to get it as fresh as I can when I'm out using it. So it just be like maggots and breadcrumbs what I usually buy, and the odd consumable that I might have forgotten to take or didn't want to carry down on the train. So anyway, I'm sort of waffling on. I think this video is probably going to be setting a record for length of video for mine. I would have thought. They don't go very long, but yeah, we'll see how it gets on. I mean, see what you think. If you think that's useful, let me know, and we'll do some more. I can also do some walks of rivers and that I fish that are not on the Broads, just for something different, really. I've sort of been doing the same thing with the channel for ages, and I must admit, sometimes I'm sort of thinking this is the same video that I've done 3 times now. It's just fishing. You know, it's sort of like you go to a similar spot, you do similar tactics or different tactics even, and you get the same sort of fish. So yeah, maybe that's just me though, because I'm doing it all the time. Maybe I'm more attuned to it, and I think a lot of you, I also tend to forget that a lot of you aren't my regular viewers. So I've got my regular viewers, and you're all great, and all the regular commenters, and I do need to get around to name checking you all, and you know who you are, you know. But yeah, I do have loads of unique viewers as well, who aren't subscribers. You can get all the analytics, and so I kind of forget about you because I'm not interacting. So if you're new and you're watching this and you're thinking he's all right, or you're thinking, God, he's a pillock, welcome, and hopefully you might enjoy it and come and have a look at another video. If you want to like and subscribe, that'd be great. If you want to share it on social media, that'll also be great. But if you don't, just click and watch. I mean, that's it. That's the beauty of YouTube. And if you don't like this bit, you don't like my talking, you can skip that bit. If you just like the fishing, you can watch that. If you want more talking, you can watch that. I think I've got a back catalogue now of 130 videos, so there's bound to be something for everyone. So if you don't like this one, why don't you go back and have another look at another one. And I've just seen we're on 6 minutes 37 now for this outro, so yeah, I'm just talking absolute rubbish, and it's actually got dark outside. It's already got dark since I've been talking, so I need to shut those curtains, and then I've got to go and do the mundane thing of buying some food shopping. So that's the exciting life of the budget angler when he's back from the Broads. But anyway, I've digressed a lot there. Thanks very much for watching, guys. It's always appreciated. If you've enjoyed that, please hit that thumbs up. Please consider dropping me a sub, and I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers, guys. Fish on.